What's going on, everybody? My name is Javante Blackman, and I want to officially welcome you to the Wisdom Walkers podcast, where I'm your host, Javante Blackman. Amongst a bunch of different things, I'm an author, and the reason for this podcast is to promote my new book, Walking with Wisdom. Wait, I see that? I did that. This is book number 3 for me, and I am super duper excited about it. So, without further ado, man, let's get into the podcast. So I want to start this podcast off by introducing myself a little bit more, and then we're gonna dive into a little bit more about the book and all kinds of great stuff. But my name is Javante Blackman. I am a 26-year-old man out of Belle Glade, Florida. Born and raised in the muck. Shout out to all the muck babies. Man, and I just love God, man. Like, He is so good, and I love God and I love serving people. My purpose on earth is to serve others. I know that. And I'm excited to do it in any way that God allows me to. So, yeah, man, for me, that makes me excited when I write books. Excuse any and all background noise that you guys hear amongst this podcast. I'm on location for this one, in a park, because once you read the book, you'll understand that wisdom goes wherever we take her. And I thought it would be dope seeing how a lot of my encounters with wisdom were outside. So yeah, man. I love to serve people in any way that I can. I think it's dope that I get an opportunity to do it through books. One of my best friends and I were talking back when I was living in Tallahassee. And he said, bro, like, it's an honor to serve. And that statement always kind of just stuck out to me. So I always apply it to my life. And now that I understand what my purpose is, I'm able to use that as my mantra, because it is an honor to serve. And I want to do it in any capacity that I'm blessed to. And one of the capacities that I get a chance to do that in is books. So yeah, man, I write books. This is book number 3 for me. I've written 2 so far. This one is my 3rd, and I am excited about it because it's been a long time coming, for real. It has definitely been a long time coming, and it feels good to be obedient with this specific project, right? So, why do I write? I write because God instructs me to write. That's the first reason. I'm not just one of those people who wants to write out of profit. I'm not an author by trade. That's not my career. That's not something I signed up for. So, nah, it's not for the money. I don't need my names in lights or anything like that, man. I really, beyond anything, write for God. I wrote my first book when I was 21. I was a sophomore, maybe sophomore. Was I a sophomore? I was a junior in college. Yeah, I was a junior in college. Lost my grandfather at 21. 2017. Lost my grandfather in 2017, and so that next year in 2018, I was like just trying to grieve and heal and all that good stuff. And God really took me to the book of Jeremiah. And I was reading the book of Jeremiah like heavy. And in the book of Jeremiah, there's a scribe called Baruch. He's a scribe for Jeremiah towards the end of the book of Jeremiah. And his character kind of always just like stuck out to me because he was obedient. Like whatever Jeremiah told him to write, he wrote. And Jeremiah was a prophet of God. So it just made sense that a prophet had a scribe. And I started, diving into, just understanding what it was, what it meant to be a scribe. And I was around a bunch of different people doing different things. And writing has always been my outlet. Like I write poetry just for myself in my notes app. And so literally I started writing in my phone. And to this day, it's a part of my writing process. And so that's the first reason why I write. The second reason is, man, I love conversations. I like to really get people talking, be a part of different conversations, share different information, because for me, that's what life is all about. That's how we learn. That's how we grow. We grow amongst conversations and information. And so that's very, very, very important to me. And so books are just my way of having one conversation with millions of people at one time. And then so many different people get an opportunity to chime into whatever conversation you bring to the table. So that means a lot to me. And I'm excited about that. So that's really why I write, those two reasons. Number one is part of my assignment from God. And number two, books allow me to have multiple conversations with, one conversation with multiple people. So yeah. Um, let's dive into question number 3. Why wisdom? Whew. Wisdom is a part of who I am, man. It makes me who I am. Like, there's no other way to put that. I am who I am because of wisdom. A lot of different principles of God stick out to me when I read scripture. And, I grew up in the church. I love the Lord still to this day, but I built a relationship with God around that principle of wisdom. When I was a jit, I say jit because I'm from Florida. When I was a jit, I really used to read the book of Proverbs to myself, especially in middle school. Like, I just used to open the Bible and go straight there. And it just was dope to me how all these different scriptures were centered around this topic of making your life better. And I used to ask different questions, and I always hung around older people. So it was natural that wisdom was just something I gravitated towards because it made me who I am. You know what I'm saying? So for me, the principle of wisdom is one that's everywhere. Everywhere you turn, that principle is at work. In the classroom, if you're a teacher, you're depositing wisdom just in the form of education. If you are a construction worker, you're depositing wisdom into the crew that's around you and just sharing information. For me, and I love this definition by Pastor Stephen Chandler, he said, wisdom is habitually applied knowledge. That's it. That's all wisdom is. It is habitually applied knowledge. It's the knowledge that we apply out of habit. And yeah, man, like for me, that's everything. That means the world to me to know that this knowledge that I have can be used and applied in the right way. So yeah, man, that's really why wisdom, first and foremost. And then everywhere we turn, wisdom is available though. Like, when we really think about it, right? You go on social media, there are millions of content creators who do nothing but post wisdom. They post wisdom about relationships. And you be on there, you be scrolling, just trying to figure out who's saying what that you can relate to. On social media, you looking for somebody who's gonna deposit some type of information and knowledge into you that's gonna better your life. All of that is wisdom, bro. That's it. That's what it is. And so it's very important for me that principle is at work in my life, because I now realize, like, everything good comes from that principle. It's just simple. Like, everything good in your life is gonna come from the knowledge that you have and the knowledge that you apply. You want to be successful? Apply wisdom. Simple. And then all the people that I look up to in my life have always deposited wisdom into me. From my mentors to my family members to older friends that I have. Like, I'm gonna share my 2 cents, but at the same time, I'm gonna sit back and I'm gonna listen. I never got an inheritance from my grandfather. Like, nah, that wasn't what it was. He was this old Jamaican dude who everybody knew, loved, and respected. And instead of giving us money, he gave us free game. Like, he taught me a lot about life, how to be a man, and different things like that. And so I took that one principle and and I just used it. And from him to the mentors I have now, like, I don't ask for handouts. I ask for knowledge. I ask for wisdom. And it's through those experiences that I'm able to learn, grow, and become who I know God gonna bless me one day to be. So yeah, that's why wisdom. And then question number 4 is probably my favorite. Why did I write this book? Woo! Story time. So in 2021, my mother died. Yeah, I am partially an orphan now. That's weird to say, but that's my reality. And I it happened for me at a very, very crucial time in my life where um I was just trying to like become a doctor. I was just trying to become a doctor. That was it. Like I was in a biomedical sciences master's program that was going to lead me into medical school. Had I done well in the program, within 2 years, I would have had a guaranteed interview at a medical school, and most of my professors who were a part of the graduate program would have been able to vouch for me as a great student in the medical school. And so I left Tallahassee in August 2021 to do that, and in September, my mother was gone. She died due to COVID complications. And for me, man, that really took a lot out of me. I tried to push my grief to the side. I tried to, um, I tried to do everything I could but grieve, you know. And I had started writing this book back in 2020 after I wrote my second book, which is called Dear Baby Girl, which is available on Amazon. Make sure you go check that out. So I have been started writing this book. Thought it was just gonna be another self-help book to help people succeed. Once I had graduated from medical school, I was gonna publish it and it was gonna be dope. Yeah. But then life hit me, and God hit me really. And I say that because He could have chosen any other way to get my attention, but He did it through that. And all of His sovereignty and all of His knowledge and His wisdom, He knew what was best for me and what I could handle and what I couldn't. And so when that happened, I just kind of, I won't say I shut down. I tried to push through and I couldn't. I couldn't get up. I couldn't walk again. I was running before I lost my mom. Like I felt like I was running. And so there's this theory I have, right? That in life we go from crawling to walking, from walking to running, and from running to flying. And everybody in the world, whether they know it or not, are caught in one of those paces. Either you're crawling, you're walking, you're running, or you're flying. I was running, and I was about to be flying. You feel me? But I went back to a crawl. And really, I was really at a standstill, but I just decided to crawl. I crawled my way out of some really, really dark times and some dark places during that season of my life. And I needed to walk again. Didn't know how I was going to do it. Didn't know when it was going to happen, but I knew that I needed to walk again. And so I just did it. I started crawling, though. That's what I did. I crawled. And I was crawling for a long time until a person who was very important to me helped me realize that, buddy, you're not doing it the right way. You're not doing the work. You're just doing stuff. And doing stuff felt so good in the moment because it was allowing me to feel. It wasn't like I was wild and I was doing anything crazy. I just wasn't healing. Like I wasn't taking the time to really heal myself. I wasn't really applying anything. I wasn't going to therapy. I wasn't having conversations with people in my community who had been through similar struggles. I was calling people to figure out, hey man, how can I stop crying so I can take a test? Or how can I put my grief to the side so that I can study? And that's not what it was. That's not what I needed, So I took my time and I took a leave of absence and withdrew from the program that I was in. I moved back home. And I really started taking my healing serious. And one of the things that I realized in all of that, after going to therapy and all of that, is that wisdom, knowing what to apply to your situation, is the game changer when you are dealing with a traumatic situation. No matter what the trauma is, when you are grieving or you're hurting and you're trying to heal, it is the wisdom that is going to be the guide to get you to wherever it is that you want to go. And it's not deep. It's really very, very simple and practical. But if you don't know what wisdom is or how to use it, you can be like, man, what? But I'm serious. Like, wisdom is the one principle that allowed me to go from crawling to walking again. And now I'm at a place in my life where I am no longer crawling. I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I should be doing. And I have a lot more clarity, even more clarity than I had before I lost my mom, which is big for me because as a man, I have more direction and I have more freedom. I'm not as weighed down by the pressures of her expectations for me or my family's expectations for me or y'all expectations for me, even though most of you really don't know me. But you will. Trust me, you will. But honestly, for me, it was all about, getting back up and moving forward the right way. And nothing guided me like that, like God's wisdom. And so this book for me helped me restore and reset, regroup. And I did it while writing. So yeah, that's why I wrote the book. That is why I wrote the book. I wrote this book to help somebody who was in a situation like I was. And it may not be, identical. You may not have lost a parent, but you got dumped by somebody you thought wasn't one. Or you may have lost a job that you just knew was going to make you one of the wealthiest people your family ever saw. It could be you lost a brother or a sibling or a cousin. Whatever it is, I'm not telling you to get this book immediately after that happens. But whenever you get to a point in your journey where you realize, like, hey, it's time for me to get up, I just don't know how, get this book. Get this book. I'm not telling you to get this book because I wrote it, even though I am telling you to get this book because I wrote it. Nah, but for real, I'm telling you to get the book because there are a lot of practical gems that you can use in this book that will inspire you to get up again. I don't give answer keys in this book. This is not a how to walk again book. No. This is not a how to heal book. I learned a long time ago that God does not give us answer keys. He only writes textbooks. He only gives us information that we could use rather than just telling us, hey, this is what to do. When it comes down to our development and our maturation, there is nothing God will do for us that is a step A, step B, step C process. Because if he was a God that gave answer keys, why would we trust him? What about an answer key makes you exercise faith? What about an answer key makes you exercise patience? What about an answer key makes you intentional? Nothing. Nothing makes you intentional like walking that thing out. And you have to see what it is for yourself that your test is going to require of you. And so, yeah, man, get my book. Walking with Wisdom will be available on Mother's Day, which is May 14th, 2023. I'm excited for y'all to read. I'm excited to hear your opinions and reviews, good and bad. I welcome it all because I realize I don't write for y'all. I write for me and I write because God told me to. So we're going to be obedient over here and that's just going to be it, man. But on the real, like, I know that this book can help save somebody's life. Maybe not in an immediate or emergency medical sense, but definitely in just a trajectory sense. Just in terms of how you get from point A to point B, how you get from where you are now to where God is going to call you to. That's why I wrote this book. And so get my book, Walking with Wisdom, which will be available only on Amazon and Audible, because you're going to hear this voice again, all right, on Audible, man. I'm excited for it, and I can't wait to hear y'all reviews. This is episode 1 to a limited series podcast. So what we'll do is I'm going to hop back on next week with a guest, and that guest and I are going to talk about some of the principles that I discuss in my book and why you should read. All right. I love y'all. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I'm excited to see what it is that we get from this, because I believe that not only will I be able to share some things with you, but you'll be able to share some things with me as well. All right, peace.